Welcome to Storytime at the Rubus, a weekly podcast featuring stories about the Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival. I'm your host, Charlotte.
And I'm Daniel. Well, it's great to have everyone. This is a special episode. This is our 100th episode.
Ding, ding, ding.
Did you ever think we would go this long?
Absolutely not.
You did not? How many episodes did you think we would have?
Like a couple.
A couple? Well, you know, this podcast has changed and grown and evolved. I think in the first dozen or so episodes, we collected all of our personal stories. But eventually I ran out of the best ones. So, you know, we talked to a lot of people individually to see what they're up to and get their stories. But the more that we grow and change and evolve, I find that there's more for us to cover, right?
You know, if you have a story out there and you want to share it, hit us up.
Yeah.
I'm still ready to hear your stories and share your stories on this podcast. It is a storytelling podcast, as I always say.
Yeah, I think over the past, 30, 40 episodes or whatever, it's evolved to being something a little different. But in the conversations that me and you have with, you know, just me and you or with friends or with guests, there's still stories inside all of those, right?
Exactly.
What's been some of your favorite episodes that we've done?
Oh, gosh. Well, my ultimate favorite was this year, the one right before we went to Bonnaroo, and then the one live from Bonnaroo.
Oh, man. Yeah, those are fun to put together.
I think it's like 91 and 92 or 90 and 91. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember
both of those. Oh, my goodness. Those were so good. And I think the one live from Bonnaroo, it's not well produced at all. It's just... It's literally live from Bonnaroo, and it's literally just you walking around with your phone, literally, and just interviewing random people. But it's so in the moment, and it's so good, and it's so just live. You're in that experience. You're in that moment. You're right there. You're with the people of Bonnaroo. You're in the campground. You're in the pit. You're at the stage. You're right there with the true, you know, Bonnaroovians, the fans. You're right there, you know, with the hardcore. I'm in GA, you know. And just that experience right there, that says it all to me.
Yeah, I always want to leave the music industry stuff to the What podcast.
Right, exactly.
This is more about what's happening in the campground and what's happening for the community in the off season these days, recently, you know.
Right, exactly. And we don't want to be a news outlet. We never want to be a news outlet. You know, people are always giving us crap, you know, oh, you guys don't know. You don't know what you're talking about. No, we don't. That's the point.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to what individual people are doing, our friends are doing, yeah, I want to know what they're doing. But as far as the other stuff, the nitty gritty and the inside baseball, I know a little bit, as much as anybody who browses the Bonnaroo Reddit knows, you know. I don't necessarily want to know. It's fun. You know, we're coming up on rumor season, and there's always, you know, some fun stuff going around.
To talk about, but...
Yeah, and the Okeechobee lineup just got announced. I was talking with Brooklyn. I think we're going to do a whole episode on that next week.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, because we're going. I know a lot of other Bonnaroovians are going. But yeah, you're right. We are about the community, not necessarily about the news or the artists. We'll talk about that kind of stuff, but it all circles back to the community itself. You know, that makes me think some of my favorite episodes are the ones where we've had just a ton of people on.
Yes. We did not to interrupt you, I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
We did a Twitter Spaces podcast that we just did live from Twitter Spaces and just had so many people on. And it worked so well. And just hearing from people, just hearing hey, what have you guys been doing since Bonnaroo? I mean, it was just awesome.
You know, one of my favorites was just a very, very small segment almost a year ago when we were having a Halloween party here at the house with a lot of Bonnaroo friends. Lord Taco from the What podcast was here. Lindsay was here and some others. I just turned the microphone on for about 10 minutes, and it was all the insanity of our very non-sober party. There was another one that comes to mind that I actually recorded at Okeechobee. You weren't there, unfortunately. No. We just had about 6, 7 people hanging out at the campground. I decided to turn the microphone on. Another one of my favorites was recently where Pondo told us about his trip to Woodstock 99.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was a perfect example of the story that I want told on this podcast, why story time is in the title of it, right? But yeah, so many other examples. Another one of my favorites that I've gone back and listened to because I want to do a sequel to it one of these days is the 2-parter that we did kind of on the history of Bonnaroo. And it wasn't just the history of Bonnaroo. It went all the way back to Woodstock.
Yeah, that was cool.
If we did a sequel to that, what would it be?
Oh, gosh.
That's a great question. I have to really put some thought into that. I feel like it would be fun to talk about the kind of side history of the whole festival community, talk about old stuff that happened at Height and Ashbury in San Francisco
cool,
with the
yeah.
Grateful Dead. I feel like a lot of the festival community today can still find its roots back to those days in the 60s and early 70s, you know?
What if we did, since we like to focus on the community? I mean, that's cool. That's super cool. I want to do that too.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Since we focus on the community, all right, throwing this out there, as I like to say, what if there's like a cool Bonnaroovian out there that has like the coolest life story ever?
Oh, man. Yeah, I would certainly like to talk to him. Do you have someone in mind?
No.
No? Send
Well,
us some nominations.
Yeah, because I know that there's like, well, I'm going to let it be a surprise. I'm not going to say anything.
Oh,
I'm going to let it be a surprise
okay.
because I don't want to call them out because I may
All
not,
right.
want to be on the podcast or whatever. But I've already got a couple of people in my mind. So
Okay.
But what if they just have like a really super cool life story? Like that'd be
I know
cool.
a few people.
Yeah.
Let's talk later. Charlotte, I understand you have a big announcement.
I do have. Well, it's not a huge announcement, but
It's
I've
a
got
medium
some things-
size.
I've got some stuff in the works.
Do you want to talk about it now? Or do you want to tease it and talk about it later?
Well, I'll go ahead and talk about it.
Okay.
I don't know. Should I tease it now? I don't know. What do you think?
Give it a tease because we're going to have another segment or two. Maybe we can talk about it later in the episode. Give us a good tease.
We're working on something, or I'm working on something for 2023 for the Rubus, and it's something that it's not going to happen unless everyone comes together to really put in a good effort for it. I don't want to do it unless I can really, really get some help on it.
Yeah.
If people sign up and then they're unwilling to put in the effort, it's not going to happen. But if it does happen, it's going to be amazing. And it's something that I really felt more inspired to do after going to Burning Man, for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, just to tease it a little bit more, I feel like part of the ethos of Burning Man is that everyone pitches in and makes for a better experience for everyone else.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it's not just, you're not just an attendee, you're a participant, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think you have something cooking up where we can have people who want to volunteer really participate and make something really awesome happen as a group. I'll put it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So that's a tease. We got something fun coming up here in just a second. We'll tell you more about that later in the episode. All right. Hey, everyone. We have some of our most beloved people here. We have a sampling of our Patreons who have been so kind and loving to support us this past year. Everybody just shout like, what's up all at once. Let's see if we can do this.
Hey.
So good to have y'all. I haven't seen just about everybody in person since we hung out in front of the bus. Well, I think before Flip Turn played.
Yeah.
I can't even recall now. I'm going to be honest.
No, it was that Friday.
Was it Friday? That's right. It was before there was like a wedding or a DJ thing. I'm going to be honest. Everything from back in June is a blur to me at this point. So I'm going to go around and introduce everybody that we have on the line today. I'm going to go in the order that the Brady Bunch thing on Zoom is showing me. We'll start with Nick. How's it going, my man? What have you been up to?
What's up, guys? Everything's good. Just working, and I have been to a lot of concerts this summer, so that was pretty cool.
So remind everyone where you're from. How many Roos have you been to?
I'm from just outside of Detroit. This last Roo was my second Roo. My first was in 2019, so should have been my fourth, but was only my second.
Well, we won't talk too much about that. All right, we'll go next round. This is no stranger to everyone. Hey, it's Evan Brown. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? I forgot what we were doing.
Well, remind everybody where you're from. How many
Okay.
have you been to?
I am from New Jersey. I live just outside of New York, across the river. I've been going to Rue every year since 2012. So however you want to count that.
I think you've been the longest out of any of us, probably. We'll find out. Next up is Andrew. What's up?
What's going on, guys? Andrew from Atlanta. Last year was my fourth. I've been going every year since 17, and it's been just, concert after concert, and, just getting back into regular life, remembering for the first time in however many years, how long that sort of Rue feeling goes with you.
What is regular life? Can you tell me what that is?
Regular life. Well, my regular life, watching sports, doing sports on the internet. That's it.
That sounds pretty good to me. All right, next up is no stranger at all. It's Chloe. What's going on?
It's me. Hi. I'm so good. So good. I'm from Iowa. This was my lucky number 7 Rue, so next Rue will be 8. And I just got done hanging out at Riot Fest, and it's literally all I want to talk about.
Oh
Ask
my
me about
gosh.
Riot Fest.
All right.
Just talk about it forever.
Give us your 60-second review of Riot Fest. What was some of your favorites there?
Oh, okay. So obviously, My Chemical Romance, spectacular. They haven't missed a beat. They sound amazing. Yellow Card, amazing. Ocean Avenue, I felt like I was 16 and 85 all at once. Had a blast during the set. My knees hurt a bunch afterwards from the jumping. Guar was amazing. Have never seen them before. They're there like every year, and I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
this is the year. And it was incredibly cathartic. Super fun. And then 9 Inch Nails closed out the festival, and it was transcendental. So good.
Oh my gosh. I hope we get them at Root one of these days. They're one of my white wolves. I've never seen Trent in the band.
Same. And they just played. Like, he did not stop to speak. Just straight through like an hour and 45 minutes. It was insane.
That's shocking because he always has a lot to say.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised by that too, but I was like, do your thing, man.
That's cool. They probably only had like a limited set. And he's like, all right, let's cram it in.
Yeah.
All right. Last but not least, we've got Michael Roberts on the line. How's it going, my dude?
Going good. How are you guys?
Good. Remind everybody where you're from, how many Roos you been to?
I'm from Minnesota and 3 Roos, I think. Yeah, 3. This will be my 4th next year, hopefully.
It's okay. Eventually you get to the point where you lose count.
Right.
Especially
those 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess Evan does win the prize after all. He's been since 2012, so he beats all of us. Most dedicated Ruvian amongst us today. All right, Evan, since you win the prize, I think we'll have you go first. So like we're going to go around and get a sampling from everyone. First question, who do you want to see at Rue 2023? Who do you think we'll see and who do you want to see?
All right. Who do I want to see? I need my life to be complete by seeing Dave Grohl at Bonnaroo in some shape or form. So that will complete my like trifecta of favorite artists. So
now you're a pretty obsessive Foo fan. So
yeah.
Tell us and be honest, what are the chances that they start touring and go to festivals again within the next year or two?
Hard to say in the next year, but the way they were billing these tribute shows, they did bill them as the Foo Fighters instead of like them individually out. So they're still kind of branding themselves as the Foo Fighters. So that's kind of what gave me hope that they might stick around. I'm not sure what it's going to look like or how they're going to do it, but I think there's hope for them to stick around and keep using that name. It's probably too big for them to ditch it and then do some like silly like spin-off with basically all the same members, you know.
Dave doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's just going to stop, and like you have to believe that like Taylor wouldn't have wanted them to. Yeah,
exactly. Especially the way that their shows came together. I don't know if you watched. I have a link for you if you want to watch it.
Oh, please. Yes. I saw some of it. I want to see the rest.
It's like 6 hours long, but you could skip through it. Yeah. Who do I think we'll see? I think it's so early that we're definitely due for like a big classic rock headliner like Bruce Springsteen or something like that. I forget if he's available, but someone in that, like, you know, maybe McCartney. I would probably not guess him, but you know, someone that has like some real gravitas to them, like a real legend. I can't put a face to a name, so probably in the next couple of months we'll get some ideas with who has, you know, tour gaps and stuff, and who's touring and everything.
I have nothing to base this on. This is pure speculation, but I feel like Roger Waters should be in the mix for that kind of name.
Yeah, I think people on Info were saying something about him going on tour next year, so that's possible.
And I mean, for anybody under 30 that doesn't know the name, if he came, it would basically be Pink Floyd on the farm.
Yeah.
Like his wall set is pretty much like what, 2/3 Pink Floyd songs?
If maybe more, yeah.
Maybe more.
I saw him in at Desert Trip. So
I'm so jealous. I want to go. All right, let's go to Nick next. Nick, who do you hope we'll see next year? Who do you want to see?
Well, they're the same person because they have a new album coming out in about a month. But the Arctic Monkeys are releasing The Car in a month, and I feel like they're going to be touring immediately after, so it should line up for them to finish that around where Rue starts. And I think they were on one of the lineups that we missed, but could be wrong about that.
Did we
But-
have them in? I want to say 14. I want to say I saw them at some point years ago.
Yeah, I think it was 14.
Yeah, I love them, and they have a new developing sound. It's like nothing like their old stuff, but I love it because I love Alex Turner, and he has one of the best stage presences of any artist I've ever seen before. So bring him to the farm, I say.
That would be a very good pick. I agree. All right, Andrew, who do you hope we'll see?
My two favorite things I would like to see are holdovers, or not holdovers, like I hope they would return from 2021, which we missed. Big Wild and Big Something. I've been looking forward to them the entire time since, because Big Something was on the 2020 lineup also. And for anybody who has seen this Odessa tour, it looks, I saw it at an amphitheater here in Atlanta. It looks very much built for a festival setting. It is huge. It is gigantic. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. And with them being on the Oki lineup, it does kind of feel like they're going to be doing the festival circuit next summer. And that is going to be, I know they were just there in 19. We should have had more since then, but that's going to be pretty giant if they play on the What stage again.
I think it would be safe money to put it on Odessa playing Rue next year, especially since they're on the Oki lineup and they've got the big new production. So yes, good call there. All right, we're gonna go to Chloe next because I think Tater Tot behind her. Is that who that is?
This is Hash Brown, but he is huge now. So yeah,
he has graduated from Hash Brown to full on Tater.
literally.
Yeah.
He just turned a year old on Friday. He's so large. But yeah.
But how about it, Chloe? Who do you want to see next year?
I'm totally with Andrew on Big Something and Big Wild, because like my heart needs to sing along to 6s to 9s on the farm. Like if I'm not spinning in the sun to that song this summer, like what's the point?
I'll be right next to you, Chloe.
Yes, we're partying, meet up at the Big Wild show. I am kind of hoping for Smashing Pumpkins is just released, like their stuff is coming out, I guess, over the next few months, I think.
Yeah.
But I think that would be wild. They were at Riot Fest last year. Yeah, right? And they just announced that they've got stuff coming out, and I'm like, that would be super cool. I don't know if they've talked about touring plans, but I would lose my mind to see that for sure.
That's a fantastic idea. They were supposed to have played Shaky Knees in Atlanta, I believe, but it was on one of the lineups that got called off over there. They would low-key be not even low-key, they would be a great festival pick for any festival, especially Bonnaroo. Ooh, that is such a good idea.
Yes. They're one of those bands that like I enjoy a lot. But when they played Riot Fest last year, of course I was gonna go like regardless. But like they're one of those bands that like every song they're like, oh, I know this song. Like you forget how much you know of their back catalog because it's just huge. And they sounded great, so I think that'd be really fun. But the Oki lineup had Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I would love them to come back. They were so good. Was that like 15? I think that was like the craziest party. That was so fun.
Chloe, I want to point out today's date.
The 21st night.
It's so timely, right? Happy Earth, Wind, and Fire Day to those who celebrate.
Yes. We're recording this on September the 21st. So I love that you brought them up right now. Did you remember? Did you remember?
Did you remember?
Did you remember? All right. Good calls. All right. Very good picks. All right. Last but not least, let's go to Michael. Who do you hope to see next year?
If any of you guys follow me, you know I say this all the time. They are definitely a big reason why I'm into Bonnaroo in the first place, but the Strokes. And I think after they did this big tour with Red Hot Chili Peppers and Thundercat, I think this could be it. It's been 11 years since the last time they came. But yeah, that's definitely number one on my list for sure.
Fantastic pick. I loved that last album. They had that song In the Summer. What was the name of that album? I can't recall right now.
The New Abnormal, which was so timely for the name of the album. It was great.
That was such a killer album. Yes, I would love to see them. They're another one of my white whales. I've never managed to see them live. I would love to. I considered going to that Chili Pepper show more for them, honestly. But tickets to the Nashville show were like minimum 200 for nosebleed seats. I was like, I'm not as obsessed with going to shows as Evan is over here. I can't go to everything. My goodness, dude. All right, let's take it back to Evan. Next question for everybody. This is probably a more important question for our crowd. What kind of campground or community improvements do you want to see next year? Can you think of anything? Let's start with Evan.
I was just thinking because you gave us a preview on the questions here.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe we could have, I don't know how possible this is, but maybe more power in choosing where we could camp. Like even if we're in GA, so we could like come together as like, we could say we're in like all in pod 7 or something. We could be like, oh, we're not all in group camping, but we can like plan, to be together without, the whole, it's probably a pipe dream, obviously, but, and then, so maybe something like that where you can pick where you want to be via your entrance, and then just assault us with water stations. Just assault us with water stations.
You need more water stations?
Yeah, because like I was over, you saw my campsite over by Where in the Woods. I was like by the monkey bar over there. We had to walk like a quarter mile to pod 2 for water. So like there should be one like every quarter mile, like at every fire hydrant or something. It's dangerous, especially when it was so hot last year.
So I know that the big mushroom fountains inside Cindery, that's coming out of a well, isn't it, Charla? I seem to recall someone having told me that before. But out in the campgrounds, they can take those big giant water tanks and put them wherever they need to. So I don't think that's something that's like out of the question, Evan. That's something they should add more of, I believe. You're right. All right, anything else, Evan?
Maybe a stage at each pod.
That'd be nice.
Draw some people out.
We had a nice one at ours. Everybody.
Yeah. that thing was big and beautiful too. So if we could get like attract like bigger bands out to the campsites, it would spread the festival out more. And because we had that whole campsite lineup last year, and it was like kind of pretty impressive. So if you could spread the love a little more, it would make things pretty awesome, I think. Because like kind of what you were saying on like one of the past podcasts about Burning Man, like that would probably help to bring the campsite atmosphere together a lot more, to have like bigger stages. Yeah.
I mean, there's some hot spots in the campgrounds. Like we had that stage out in the group area, and then there's the great House of Yes Plaza, and then we're in the woods. But if you're in between one of those places, it's kind of a barren wasteland in a lot of cases. Yeah. So I agree, Evan. That's a good call. All right, let's go to Nick next. Nick, what do you think we could have improved out in the campgrounds?
Well, first of all, we should do a Rubus group camping, like I saw one of you guys say on Twitter. Like that's something that would be awesome. But my favorite place when 2019 was Where in the Woods, and I just felt like that was not as cool as it was the last time. Maybe because they had like that giant stage in the back this time, so it was too busy. But all the huts could each have a little theme to them rather than what they were this year.
Yeah.
And also, didn't there used to be a comedy tent?
Yes. I think most of everyone misses it.
Let's make a podcasting tent, because there's a bunch of cool podcasts that could be everywhere, and I really love to see that because I'm obsessed with podcasts. So like you can have a bunch of other people coming for different reasons too.
Well,
I don't know if you saw Always Sunny
these days. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw the Always Sunny podcast just did Bourbon and Beyond.
What?
Weekend. Yeah.
What?
I hadn't heard that. I know
So that should be going live.
Back in 2017, when U2 played, there used to be a podcast with Adam Scott from Parks and Rec and Severance and somebody else.
Yeah, and Scott Ackerman from Comedy Bang Bang.
That's right. Yeah. They were supposed to come, but they had to drop out at the last minute. That would have been really cool.
Yeah,
what would be
give me a podcasting tent.
What would be a good like famous podcast to bring down, like a funny one or something? Conan O'Brien.
Maybe Storytime by the Rubas.
We wouldn't be that good live, but like, I'm gonna give you a shout out for a podcast recommendation, like Fly on the Wall with Dana Carvey and David Spade. They talk old Saturday Night Live stories and they have good guests. That would be a funny one to have at Rue. I feel like that's just me.
I watched this podcast called The Daily Zeitgeist, and I've seen them live a couple times, and they're hilarious and really good, and that would be a perfect place for that.
That's a good idea. Podcast tent. I like that.
Rick Rubin does I'm sure there's 1.5 billion music podcast, but like Rick Rubin just did one with like Jack White. He has one. He might be cool.
I read
interview music kind of podcasts. There are a dime a dozen, I'm sure. So
well, that one sounded good because I read on that podcast with Jack White, like apparently like Neil Young just walked in the door and surprised them both or something.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
And he was like, "You want to listen to my new album?"
Yeah. Let's go to Andrew next. Andrew, what do you think we could do out in the camps?
Most important thing for me would be if there could be one of those water mushroom fountains in Where in the Woods or close by. It felt like the only inaccessible place for water, and it actually drove me to, on your advice, Daniel, because you walked by me and said, get a Camelback, because I was standing in line to get the bottom. I had finished all my water, so I was standing in line to get more. But as hot as it was last year, if that stage gets really, really packed at night, if it's going to be 92 degrees, that could be a problem. So if they can get water to Where in the Woods so that people can have some, even if everybody's got a Camelback, that would be the best improvement, I think.
Somebody else mentioned that to us, and like I had to recall in my mind, like, right, there's no water there. That's kind of inexcusable. As much as they promote that, and as much as they kind of funnel people that way,
there's not one out there.
And it's so far in the back at that stage, you got to come all the way out and then go out in the campground up to 2 to get water. So it's a long way if you're thirsty in there.
Yeah, good call. Good call. Can you think of anything else?
There are so many improvements. It was hard for me to, like, little stuff like that. It's hard for me to think of stuff that would need to be improved again. That when they opened up this past year, that second cut through, when you can go through right after you walk underneath the arch to go into the rest of Centeroo, it cleared up. I mean, I know there's only 45,000 people there, but that clears it up if there's going to be a big crowd. Moving to the back and putting that little tent thing over it was great. With the upgrades that they made for this year, I was really, really happy with. This might be asking for too much, but if they could run another set of the jam track in each direction during peak times, that would be great. So those lines could be a little shorter, because jam track's awesome. Everybody, if you didn't get to it last year, take a half hour, an hour where you don't have anything to do, just sit on it and go around, because it's awesome to see everything from that vantage point. But I was really, really happy with the stuff that they did. And, you know, it was improvements that they had the opportunity to make, and we got the opportunity to enjoy them. But that water in Where in the Woods, I think would be the most critical thing.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm glad you brought that up. All right, let's go to Chloe next. What are you thinking?
Oh man, I agree with Andrew on a lot of that stuff. Like, the choices and the improvements they made this year were, I think, really awesome and intentional. And I would love to see them continue. Like, you guys that have been going a while, you know that they, try new things and then get rid of them the next year and try something new. But like the sheer amount of mist tents, I hope they keep those, because those made a huge difference and would have been so welcome. Like, I know this year was really hot, but they would have been just as welcome like other years. So I hope they keep that up, especially like those huge ones that were like in the middle of Centeroo. Those like really, really big ones. I'm like, give me more of those, because those were good for community too. Like, you just sit down at a table and meet people. It's easy. So I would love them to keep the stuff that they've gotten and kind of improve upon them, like the jam track, like you were talking about. I feel like we did not see that in its final form. So hope they do it again next year and like do it the way they thought it would go, And then this is like super nitpicky, and I may genuinely be the only person that was annoyed by it. But like, do you remember how like the vendor area had been set up previously? It was like in those kind of like horseshoes, and everything was very much like together.
Oh
like,
yeah,
it was all just like vendor alley, like in Centeroo, like they were all together. I did not like how they were set up this year in like those little clusters. I don't know. I got super turned around because they all look the same. But I don't know. So I would like it to go back to normal. But that's just me. That's just me being a baby.
When you've been to Bonnaroo so many times and you go one year and they've changed the layout of something, it's like you go to your grandma's house and she moved around the couch and stuff. And you're like, what?
That's the best description, because I was like, this makes sense, like logistically, but I don't like it. That's how I liked it. Like, it's so silly. But other than that, I love everything they've done. What?
So an old man yells at cloud.
Literally me just shaking my fist. How dare you change something?
I'll quote something from Grandpa Simpson on that too. One day it'll happen to you too. I used to be hipping with it. All right, let's go to Michael. Michael, what are you thinking we could do better in the camps?
I love those misting stations on the campgrounds. I wish they would make them a little bigger. Like, maybe bigger tents or more pop-ups, you know, because there's a lot of people just kind of gathering in there, and they got full really quickly. Being in Centeroo, the liquid death that they were giving out to people, I don't know if you guys remember that, but I wish they were doing that out in the campgrounds, because more hydration is good. I agree with Chloe and I think Andrew, just sharpening up how jam track worked. It seemed so problematic this year. I didn't even take it. I just skipped it. And then like continue the community events. I think that's such an important part of Bonnaroo, that if they can continue to encourage those, I think that's what Bonnaroo is all about. It's all about the community. So just keep encouraging and giving people those tools they need to host those.
Yeah, absolutely. Charlotte and I will talk about this later in another segment or another episode, but we were very, very, very inspired by what we saw at Burning Man, about how the community really builds the event. And we really think that Rue could do more of that.
Yeah,
we're just still kind of letting it simmer in there and figuring out how exactly to implement it, you know? All right. Good suggestions all around, everyone. All right. So we got a few minutes left in this segment. Real quick, we'll go to everyone. I just want to hear how things are going for you. Like, what does your Rue off season look like? Tell me something positive happened in your life right now. We'll go back to Evan.
All right. I just finished up a weekend at See Here Now, which, if you don't know, is a somewhat new festival here in Jersey. It's right on the beach. Stevie Nicks played, Green Day headlined, My Morning Jacket was there, Gary Clark Jr. It was absolutely outstanding. I actually stumbled into some platinum tickets for it, which was,
of course you did. Of course,
a whole nother
did.
story. I'm going to Firefly this Saturday, and I start a new job in a week and a half, and life is good right now.
It's time to be Nick. I'm more shocked when there's a show that you're not at.
I'm actually not at a show tonight. I want to see Camp playing in Central Park, but it just didn't pan out.
All right, let's go to Nick next. Nick, tell me something positive happening for you.
Currently, right now, I am in the middle of deciding whether I might move across the country to Denver. So we'll see what happens with that the next couple of months. And also, Chloe, on Saturday, I'm going to see Nine Inch Nails in a city south of Cleveland. I'm not sure where. My friend just hit me up today and says he has an extra ticket, and we're just going to drive down there. So pretty excited for that. And for the rest of the off season, we'll see. I know Flip Turn's coming here in November, so I'm going to definitely go check that out. And they're playing at like one of my favorite kind of venues, going just like a little tiny place. It's at a little bar. So like, I saw you guys at Rue, and I'll be able to talk to them. So that'll be awesome.
Tell them, send them our love. I won't get to see them until Okeechobee.
Yep, there we go.
There we go. Andrew, tell us something good happening.
Yeah, been seeing all kinds of concerts here in Atlanta. I got to see Earth, Wind, and Fire in Odessa back-to-back nights.
Nice.
Saw Chastity Brown and Nico Case. I got the Knox coming up in a couple of weeks too. My brother's getting married, and one of my favorite things coming out of this Rue was that, shout out Peanut Butter Pancakes team. We are getting together right after Thanksgiving for like a Friendsgiving situation, and we're renting some cabins in Georgia, and it's going to be like intermediate Rue time. And we're going on Black Friday, so we're going to wake up that morning at my house, buy our tickets, and then go on the road.
Hell yeah, that's amazing. I love those kind of like meetups that happen in part because of Rue. That's awesome. All right, y'all have fun at that cabin. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
All right, Chloe, you are always such a beacon of positivity. Tell me something good happening for you these days.
Oh man, I feel like everything's just coming up roses. I just get to do lots of fun stuff. I've got a full October. I've got Andrew and I are going with my mom and dad to what's that city? Baltimore for a Ravens game. That's my husband's favorite team. Yeah, what's that one place we're going? And then I've got like back-to-back weekend trips with friends, and then we close out the month with a wedding. Like, it's just a great fall.
Oh my gosh.
Busy.
Have fun with all that. All right. Lastly, Michael, tell us something good going on.
I started a new job this year. Still at the same company, but just moved positions. So I'm just getting ready for like holidays, and that's been really exciting. I feel like it's a great opportunity, and I really enjoy it. The last show I went to was actually our local Pride Fest with my daughter, and that's been really instrumental with her.
That's
and
awesome.
She's kind of going with her journey on that, and it's been really cool to see. And just support her in that journey. And then my next show coming up is Wobbleween with Ganja White Night at the Armory in Minneapolis, and it's like a 2-day rave during Halloween weekend. So I'm just kind of hunkering down at work right now and grinding it out until I can let loose for a weekend there.
Well, I hope you survive that 2-day rave. My goodness.
Yeah.
You should hype up the company you work at. I'm drinking from your water bottle that you sent me.
Oh, hey.
Oh, that's cool.
Awesome. It's
They make the best stuff. It's so cute. I love it.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. But more importantly, thank you so much for your support with our Patreon. We really appreciate you like helping us with our crazy idea that we had for Burning Man, but more importantly, helping us with the Bonnaroo Works Fund. From this point on, pretty much everything that we collect from our Patreon will go to that. 80% will go to that. And everybody knows the story by now. The remaining 20% will go for something fun for next year's party. I don't know how we're going to be able to top it after Flip Turn,
Right.
but we'll sure as hell try. And we'll touch base with you guys because we want your ideas. So if you're a Patreon, we totally want you to help us plan next year's event. And Charlotte has something more to tell you about later. Yeah, we'll tell you offline. She's going to talk about it later in the episode, but we'll make sure that you guys get first dibs on that.
No.
Somebody already kind of spoiled it.
Cooking up.
Nick kind of spoiled it earlier, but yeah, we got something. But again, thank you so much, guys. We appreciate you so much, and we can't wait to see you again real soon. Hopefully sooner than Bonnaroo, you know.
Coming up to Atlanta for playoff game, man. I know you love them Braves, Dan.
Oh, dude, that's the plan. Actually, I'm going to be over there for Mitchell's birthday here in a couple of weeks, so I may hit you up.
Sounds good to me.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much. We appreciate y'all. We love you. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to all of our Patreons. That was so awesome.
Yeah, before we started that, I wasn't really sure what kind of a crowd we were going to have, but we actually got a good one.
Yeah, we had a lot of people. And
Yeah.
I think they brought up some really, really good points in there, especially about no water stations and where in the woods. Like, that's a very valid point.
Yeah, someone had mentioned that to us before. I can't recall who did, but oh man, if multiple people are pointing that out, that is a problem that they need to fix next year.
And there were some really, really good ideas for some artists to see next year, like Smashing Pumpkins, Chloe was talking about.
I hadn't even thought of them. That's such a
Right?
great pick. Yeah. You know, there's that talk about Odessa. I feel like they're kind of one of the names that people are really leaning on right now as a pick for next year. And it seems pretty clear that they should definitely be in the conversation. But man, Smashing Pumpkins or the Strokes, I would love to see either of those. Those are those kind of like, not necessarily out of left field, but a little bit more of a pick that not many other festivals would make, that I would hope that Bonnaroo would do.
Right.
That's something that really has set Rue apart in the past, is like having a little bit of a different lineup. So I don't want to see a lineup that I could also see at Oki or Lollapalooza or Firefly. It needs to be very Bonnaroo. It needs to be different. But we'll talk more about that in the months to come now that
Right.
we're on the verge of rumor season.
But I had a really good time talking to our Patreons. That's
Oh,
really
yeah,
cool. We
absolutely.
should do that more.
We should. Charlotte, do you want to list all of our Patreons so we can include everyone that couldn't make it?
Sure, absolutely. All right, we've got Perry, Preston, aka Presto, Nick, Maddie, Sean, McFerg, Andrew, William, John, Captain Dan, Lucy, Benjamin, Ross, Kent, Michael, Randy, Joshua, Madison, Scott, Greg, Eric and Ben, Natalie, Beyond the Hypnotic, that's Jace, Evan, Jay, Chloe, and Sean.
Yeah, and if you want to learn more, you can go to patreon.com/Rubus. So from this point on, 80% of everything that we bring in is going to go to the Bonnaroo Works Fund, the charity arm of Bonnaroo, and the remaining 20% will go to fund something fun at our next Rubus party at Bonnaroo next June. I was about to say next month, but we're not
Next
even working.
month,
Yeah.
I wish.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Hey, we have thrown
And
around the idea.
October Roo.
Yeah, I mean, we have thrown around the idea for that. Maybe one of these days. But again, that's patreon.com/Rubus. Thanks to everyone for your support. We hope we are doing a lot of good with the Works Fund and putting on a party for you guys as well. Now, Charlotte,
Yes.
you teased this in the first segment, and Nick spoiled it a little bit, but do you want to tell everybody about your announcement?
Sure. Okay. So we were very, very, very inspired when we went out to Burning Man about all of the community emphasis and the community events that happen. So Burning Man,
Yeah.
all it literally is community. I mean, there are no stages. There is no lineup. I mean, it's community events.
There's
literally.
nothing like Live Nation or C3 there that's putting on a lot of stuff or selling corporate sponsorships. It is exclusively a community event. And it's
event.
kind of awesome because of that.
So think the Bonnaroo campgrounds having, their own bands come and play, having their own parties,
Sounds familiar.
right? So I got really inspired by that, and I thought, we should really do a robust group in the campgrounds in 2023. I mean, we've kind of, people have kind of asked us about that before. We've kind of thought about doing it, but it's always seemed like so much work.
And it is, but that's kind of what we're tackling here.
But we kind of got inspired by how they do it at Burning Man. Everyone really comes together to participate in the group, to really take on a role in the group, to really take on a vested interest in the group. No one just joins the group. You really have to be involved in the group.
There's kind of a thing that they say at Burning Man that no one is only a
spectator.
No one's only a spectator. Everyone is participating.
Exactly. Yeah. So we want to put together a robust group in the group campgrounds, but we want everyone who joins to be involved in some way, to take on some role. And, that can be taking on the role of managing the parking passes. That can be helping with the whatever band that we get to play the Tuesday, Wednesday parties.
Maybe we need a bartender.
Maybe we need a bartender. Maybe we need someone to greet people.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we need someone to literally help with parking.
Yeah. So part of the first job is me and Charlotte have to figure out all of these different roles.
Right. Exactly.
And I think we're setting ourselves, me and her, a deadline to figure out all the different things that need to be done by someone by around Christmas, New Year's. Right now, we're just getting the idea out there, seeing who is interested.
Right now, we're in the exploratory phase.
Yeah. So we'll probably put some more stuff out on Robust Socials and
put some feelers out there.
We'll put together like a group chat. I don't know, Facebook groups or Discord, or I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, and we'll kind of see what everybody wants to do, what everybody would like to volunteer to do, and the more people we have, the less work there is to do because we can spread it out. Yeah. We've done a lot in our small group, me and Charlotte, and also like Brooklyn and Joe and others, to put on stuff like the Flip Turn show and some of the other fun stuff we did this year. But we want to go bigger. But in order to go bigger, we need to expand our group to more people who can bring in their specialties, their expertise, their ideas.
Bingo.
So maybe there's stuff we're not even thinking about that we should do that you would think about and suggest and help make happen if you were in our group.
Right. I mean, the events that they do at Burning Man, for example, I mean, you might have a group that does waffles every morning. You might have a group that does mimosas of 21 and up, of course, every morning or whatever. I'm just giving you some examples.
Keep talking to me. I like these ideas.
Just totally some examples. So in order to have events like that, we need help.
Yeah.
Literal help from you guys.
And let's think about it this way. It's not that like, oh, Daniel and Charlotte needs help. It's like, no, we want your help to help everyone.
Exactly.
You would be helping everybody in the Robust group, but also helping everyone who is a Bonnaroovian, who is there, because we want to make something awesome happen. Right. We can make something even more awesome happen if you're there with us.
Right, exactly.
So, like, man, that Flip Turn show last year might be just getting started. Mm-hmm. We'll see. But more information to come on that soon. Check our socials. We'll start getting a group chat together before too long of everyone who is interested, and we will have all of the roles figured out by around Christmas and New Year's. We're going to give ourselves a deadline for that. Anything else on that, Charlotte? This is Charlotte's project. It was her idea. I'm supporting her.
No, I think that's it. Just check our socials for more information.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Brooklyn. What's up, Daniel?
Hey, Brooklyn. How are you doing? For once, we're not in the same room. You're at your place and I'm at mine. We decided that we were going to record a segment for the 100th episode. You wanted to do a Twitter Spaces and hang out with everybody.
Yeah. I'm not really going to be good at controlling.
Oh, that's okay.
But I'm just, I don't know. There's been a lot of new changes in my life in the past month.
I know. I've been hearing about that. Do you want to share just a little bit with everybody?
Got a new job, bartending. Quit the toxic job, and I got a new place to live.
I feel like Brooklyn's back on top again. You've had a lot of positive changes in the past month.
Yeah. We're going to Rio de Janeiro in February.
Oh, yeah.
We bought our Okeechobee tickets.
Ooh, yes. We will talk about that later. In fact, I think you and I are going to do a whole podcast episode about the Okeechobee lineup before too long.
Yes.
Yes. So we're getting together today because we want to get some friends on Twitter Spaces, and I think you heard a woohoo just a moment ago from someone very familiar to us. Who is that?
That is none other than the Pondo.
Oh my God!
Me. They let me out on work release to talk to you guys. I'm just kidding.
What the hell has happened to this place? Oh my God! Don't let anyone hear.
Podcast episode segment. How could I miss this?
Yeah.
This is like winning the lottery and Publisher's House sweepstakes on the same day. I mean, you can't get better than this.
Pondo, what's happening in your world? How are you doing?
I'm striving and surviving. I'm still alive. I don't know if you heard the rumor or not, but I have started a podcast.
Yes, tell us about that.
It's a shameless plug point of the show. My podcast is named One Hit, That's It. And what I do is each week I discuss 2 one-hit wonders. One that may be obscure that you haven't heard in a year or possibly even a decade. And another one that's number one in our hearts and minds and you'll need therapy to get rid of. Each week, the entire purpose is to discuss how come they were only a one-hit wonder, a little bit of background of the artist, how the song came about. Just had a debut episode last week, and we did Tracy Bonham's Mother, and we also did Norman Greenbaum's Spirit in the Sky, which everybody's heard probably a million times now, thanks to Garth.
I love that song. You know that my favorite memory of that song is it was in the soundtrack to one of my favorite movies, Contact. So when Dr. Arroway goes to the very large array out in Arizona, there's like a alien con or an alien rue that's happening out there in the desert, and that song is playing.
By the way, that is a very, very great movie. I loved Matthew McConaughey in that movie, although I hated the question that he asked that really derailed Jodie Fisher's character.
You got to read the book to that. You got to read some Carl Sagan for me, my man.
You're like the third or fourth person that's told me that the book is so much better. So I'll have to take your word for it. Who knows? Maybe one of these days I'll flip some pages.
Heck yeah. So Pondo, I got a question for everybody, and I'm going to go to you first for this. Then we'll go to Brooklyn, and then some others on the call. Who do you want to see at Rue 23? Who do you think would be a good pick?
Okay, let's see. Well, let's start with the Rubus, Brooklyn, the What Podcast guys. Oh, you mean Axe? I'm sorry. Well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Rubus does have an act that performs a special DJ. There you go.
Oh, that's just a stupid weekend project. What real bands or DJs do you want to see at Rue 23?
Let's start. Okay, for me, a lot of people are in EDM. My white whale of EDM is Aphex Twin.
Ooh.
I don't think we'll ever get Aphex Twin, but if that was to happen, that would be an altering experience throughout the festival. I just think because he would have so many people planted out in the crowd to participate with him. That's my white whale when it comes to EDM.
Good pick. Good pick. What about a band with actual instruments?
A band with actual instruments. Well, okay. A friend of mine asked me what are the chances of this, and I told them slim and none. But with the way the ticketing has gone with Bruce Springsteen, if there is some way, and I don't think it'll happen. I think it's a shot in the dark at best. If they could get Bruce Springsteen with the way that ticketing fiasco has gone, I think that would be an instant sellout for them. The other one is the one that they've been trying to get, or I think there's been rumors off. I would still love Lady Gaga.
Oh, man.
Oh, yes.
The trick with her is she might be filming that new Joker movie, so it's just a matter of the timing. Probably a matter of the cost, too. Homegirl is probably not cheap these days.
Yeah, it's gone a long way away where you could get somebody for 6 figures.
Yeah.
Those days have kind of passed. But as far as the band, I would love to see there as a possible headliner. I'm a huge Nine Inch Nails fan.
Ooh.
I've seen them several times. They played last time, and they were kind of pushed back because of the timing you could get there. And I think a headlining Nine Inch Nails set would be really good. It would also be what I consider a safe pick because he does draw in people from his older stuff, maybe not so much his new stuff. And it wouldn't be, I don't think it would be a headliner that would necessarily be questioned or asked like, well, why is he headlining for?
Yeah, there's no question with Nine Inch Nails. They've been at it for the better part of 3 decades now.
I remember first finding out about him in like 1991 is when I found out about him. I've been hooked ever since. I'm old. I'm sorry.
Chloe spoke very glowingly of them from Riot Fest, I believe. So yeah, that's a big recommendation in my book.
So Brooklyn, who are you dying to see on the farm?
Okay, so me and Daniel were just talking about this the other day. And I want to see a lot more punk bands.
Yes.
So I want to see, since Turnstile is going to be at Okeechobee, I'm going to go with Pup.
Oh, man.
P-U-P. They are a punk band from Canada. They're pretty fucking amazing. But yeah, other than that, Alien Sex Fiend.
Wait, what? I don't know that one.
They're wonky.
But Brooklyn, you have such a good point because it's been a good while since we've had like a good rager punk band at Rue. Honestly, the last one that I personally remember going to was Fiddlar way back in 2016.
Yeah.
It used to be every year we would get somebody on the lineup like that. We had like Against Me a year or two before that. It's been a little while.
Dude,
it's time we got something like that.
Jeans,
Yes.
What's the other one?
Mom Jeans is a great pick. We should totally have them.
The Front Bottoms.
We had them one year. I remember they played the What stage in the early afternoon. It was charmingly weird. I'll put it that way.
God, I love the Front Bottoms.
Yeah.
They're so good.
What about some EDM? What should we have for EDM next year, Brooke?
Definitely Grizz.
Oh gosh.
Ellis Dream, and there's this. I discovered this new group called Lemon Jelly.
I don't know that one.
Seriously, if you like Tycho, you should look it up. It is that bouncy, happy song. Called hang on, let me look it up. It's called A Tune for Jack.
Okay.
It is a 6-minute vibe. It is such a good song. Remember, it's that song that came on in the house the other night.
You're right.
Party in the hot tub.
I was going to say that if you're comparing it to Tycho, that's right up my alley, so I need to check that out.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I just like the name.
Yeah.
Lemon Jelly's awesome. I also like biscuit, so if you would have biscuits in there too.
We got to take Pondo to a Cracker Barrel.
Oh, trust me, they know me by my first name when I walk in. They don't know me as Pondo. They know me as Brian, but I guess I could wear the Viking horn to scare everybody. Okay, Daniel, then it's your turn, man.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to go last. I've got somebody else queued up to tell us what they're thinking. I've got Josharoo on the line. He's muted, but let's see if we can get him on. I want to hear what he wants for next year.
Hello?
Hey, dude, you're coming through. How's it going, my man?
What's going on, guys? It's so good to hear from you.
You
How
too.
are you?
We're great. How have you been doing?
Man, I am so good. I have to go on a quick tangent really quick.
Please.
Wanted to hop in. I saw you were live. Me and a good buddy of mine, I took her to her first Bonnaroo last year. We are headed to Format Festival this weekend.
Oh, is that the one in Bentonville?
Have you guys heard of that at all?
Yes, because our good friend Ada is headed there right now, I believe.
Awesome. Okay, yeah. So we're in Fayetteville, Arkansas. We're literally 20 miles from site. Went there last night. Actually, had to go through some back roads to get to the box office, and we accidentally drove my car into the center room essentially. And it looks great. It looks great. So, I'll definitely give you a book report if needed.
Please, yes.
Yeah, for sure. So, are we? I'm assuming we're talking about next year, like headliners and everything, right?
Yeah, who would you like to see next year? What would be your picks?
God, so I'm a big Tame guy. I know you are too.
Oh, yeah.
We missed him in 2020. We missed him in 2021. We have a year gone by. Let's make it happen. Let's do it, right?
I agree.
So I do think they will be back. Like, in fact, I know they'll be back at some point. But I'm just telling you this as an obsessive fan. I don't know if it's going to be next year because I think Kevin is ready to go on hiatus to start working up the new album.
And that's what I assumed.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I was afraid of. I think the Slow Rush is my favorite record of his of all time. I mean, it is. I know a lot of people. Courage is the craze, right? I get it, but Instant Destiny is just unmatched in my opinion. But so yeah, I mean, I would love to see Tame. I think Thundercat would be a great set. They're going to be here on Sunday.
Ooh, very good pick.
So I'll definitely fill you guys in, but. Yeah, I mean, Tame's kind of my top-notch pick. Obviously, I'm into some hip-hop as well. Those can kind of, let's be real, it kind of be interchanged, right? There's a lot of hip-hop artists that fill the bill. But, yeah, man, I mean, Tame's really the number one just because it's an unbelievable set. I've never seen him yet. Big fan of his. And I think you actually ended up seeing him a couple times, right?
Yes, I was very lucky and blessed that I've seen him 3 times in the past year and a half. Charlotte and I went to Atlanta, and then we saw him on the rail at Okeechobee. And then I took my niece to see them up at Forecastle back in, what was it, May?
Right.
I can't even remember. So, yeah, I pretty much know the
Yeah.
current tour by heart at this point.
I know. Yeah, so I mean, Tame, Thundercat, I would say, a couple other honorable mentions. I mean, I would love to see, there's this band, a lot smaller, they're called Sure, S-U-R-E.
Oh, I know them, yeah.
Super groovy. They opened up for Young the Giant when I was going to school in Wisconsin, and I just fell in love with them. Super groovy, super fun. And so, yeah, I mean, a lot of these, I'm starting to really dig into these smaller artists. So, would love to see a lot of these smaller people I support kind of come through. And because, I mean, we've all seen it. These small artists, they get on a Bonnaroo lineup. Everyone loves it, goes crazy. And then in 2 years, they're on the what stage, right? So, yeah, I mean, just bring a lot of groove. That's kind of my goal, to be honest.
It's funny that you... go ahead, Pondo.
I also think with the way they've redone the Who stage, it to me, there's a little bit more shade. It's more accessible. I actually like where they moved it to. I hope they keep it. And I honestly think you can get some more acts in there that are up and coming. I really think, I hope they do that. Real quick thing to Joshua, if you ever have me singing country line dancing music again, I will speak the beard personally. For those of you that know, you know.
Oh my
really
God.
Quick, I do have to admit I have to get off here. We're about to head to the campgrounds. Really quickly, I have to say, I'll admit here, me and my good friend Lily, we were there. It was her first year. There were multiple times I saw Pondo. I saw all of you guys, the group bus and everything. I managed to sign it. We were just so nervous to talk to you guys.
Dude, no,
nervous.
do not be nervous.
I don't know. I know you guys are just some other Bonnaroo gang, right? But we were so nervous. I was like, I'll just sign it. We'll dip out. They got stuff to do, right? But we'll definitely be stopping by and actually talking to you next
Yes,
year,
please.
for sure.
Please do. I promise you, we are out there all 5 days making a fool of ourselves. There's nothing to be nervous about.
I know. But yeah, peace and love, guys. I'll report back how Format Fest went and try to take as many pictures and videos as I can. And, we'll see what they do here because it's exciting.
Safe travels and good tunes, man.
Have fun, man. Have fun. Hey, so he'll hear this later. I was going to suggest to Josh that he check out the band Pond. Not Pondo, Pond. Also an Australian psychedelic band.
And I've always thought that I should be a spokesman for them. They're interesting. What do you even call them? More of a lot of people call them jam, I guess.
They are very Tame Impala adjacent in more ways than one. So obviously by being like a psychedelic band out of Australia, you're related, but like they share a few of the members too. They can be a jam band. They're less poppy than Tame Impala. They're more like experimental. Like their last album, 9, I didn't care for as much, but the 2 before that are both like absolute bangers. I love everything they do.
It just seems like I remember seeing them live. I don't remember where, but they had like maybe an hour and 20 minutes to play, and they played like 10 songs because everything was kind of extended out, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I don't have an issue with that at all, especially if it sounds good. If it sounds good, it could be a 20-minute song. It does not matter to me, but
Well, it wouldn't shock me to see them back at Rue at some point. So you got to go. You share almost all the same letters. Yeah. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about what we can expect in terms of headliners next year. I was just checking in with some of the gang on InfoRoo because they're always very well informed. And I kind of like looked through the recent discussion on there and the Bonnaroo Reddit and kind of seeing what's rumored for a lot of other festivals for next year. So you guys tell me if anything is off or if you can think of any other acts that we should put in the rumor bucket for next year. But here's what I'm thinking. You ready?
Mhm.
All right. So Odessa. I feel like that's
Definitely.
we can almost count on that at this point, given what we know.
I would say that's about an 80% sure lock.
Yeah. Others, Red Hot Chili Peppers. They might be due back. Dead and
I
Company.
would say it's too soon. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll get back with you in a moment on that. But is it also too soon for Dead and Company? They just announced that next year will be their last tour.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
My 2 cents on that is one of the lowest drawing years that they had was with Dead and Company. So do you want to spend that kind of money on an act that may or may not draw in the modern crowd?
So let me push back on you a little bit. I don't think Dead and Company was the reason that 2016 sold
Oh, I
not
don't
as good.
either.
Yeah, I think it was like that year, and let's be honest, it was kind of old white man fest because you had them and LCD Sound System and Pearl Jam as the headliners. Those are all three great acts, but there's just not a lot of diversity, and I don't think it sold well to a younger crowd.
When it comes to LCD Sound System, I like them, but I think they were overhyped because they came back.
I agree.
And I don't think they were as big as everybody thought because they had those farewell shows up in New York or wherever it was. And afterwards, you're like, okay, maybe they shouldn't have headlined. I'm not saying their set wasn't good. I'm just saying that maybe we overhyped them.
Yeah, I'm telling you this as a massive LCD Sound System fan. I think they're sub-headliners, not headliners. Like, I don't think they have the widespread popularity that a lot of other headliners do. And you're right. I think that last show that they did at Madison Square Garden kind of vaulted their legacy a little bit more so than it would have been without that show.
I agree.
Yeah. All right, next up on my list, Lizzo. I feel like she's owed the spot at some point.
Mm-hmm. I
Next,
would say that's probably about a 75% lock.
you think so? She's active. It seems like it's very possible.
I really think that she will. I think they want her for sure. They had offered her. The rumor was $1 million before. I think she'll probably draw about the same amount. She has kind of faded from the limelight a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So this would be a chance for her to get back into. I don't want them to wait a year or two and try to do this.
Yeah.
And then maybe her star has faded, you know.
It's already in the public sphere that she put a lot of work into her Bonnaroo show because it was on that Amazon documentary. So I feel like they have to do that sooner rather than later if they're going to give her the makeup show. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like I feel like she is the second most possible next to Odessa. Just my personal opinion.
That's why I said 80 and 75. So
Yep.
we're on the same
Yep.
page.
You agree. All right. Next up, Kendrick Lamar. He's touring right now. He is very socially relevant. He's been there before, but it's been quite a while. It was 14 or 15. I can't remember at this point.
His set was fine. Again, not necessarily somebody I'm going to run out and jump up and down, but for what he does it really well. He recognizes fans definitely, and he has a good flow. The one thing that worries me about Kendrick Lamar is I really think they'll try to go even younger on the hip hop.
Well, they certainly did at Okeechobee. I'm going to be honest. I had to look up who Baby Keem was because I hadn't heard him.
Nobody. I looked at that list, and that was the one thing I didn't know. And big letters. I'm like, what the hell is this?
I mean, for me, usually if somebody's a headliner, I've at least heard of them. I want to be honest. That was the first time I've heard of this person.
Yeah, and for I said they might be. By the way, the lineup is amazing. I think there's a little bit of there's something for everybody there. But it was like I was scratching my head. I was like, compared to the rest of them, and it was towards the top too.
Oh yeah.
That was the thing, like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
There's a couple of others that I've put in to kind of round out the possible pool at Bonnaroo next year. I feel like these all could be possible. They all kind of fall into the same genre. So I've got Jack White, Metallica. We talked about Nine Inch Nails. There's probably a couple of other somewhat legacy acts that I feel could fill the third spot. But I'm really going to push, if we have any influence, I think Dead and Company is probably the best spot for that third slot next year. Maybe the second slot, I suppose.
What could be interesting, and I don't know if they'll still be touring at this point, but the Doobie Brothers are doing their 50th anniversary tour right now. And I believe it's supposed to go on, I think, till next year, but don't quote me on that. But if there was a way they could get them there, I'm not saying that they would be a headliner, but I could see them playing like before a headliner, like maybe even on the Witch stage.
Yeah.
I think that could be interesting.
Well, they would be a good pick for that like legacy off the wall slot, kind of like we had for gosh, why is his name tripping me right now? Herbie Hancock. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't think of that. And then like Earth, Wind, and Fire kind of fills that spot at Okeechobee this year. Yeah.
They're touring right now, too.
I am so ready for Earth, Wind, and Fire at Okeechobee.
Oh my gosh, that's going to be a party.
I saw them when they played Bonnaroo late night, and they were actually set right behind the Bonner grannies.
You partied with them?
God.
So Brooklyn, out of those names, I mean, other than Odessa, because we feel like that's pretty close to not really being confirmed, but being expected, who would you like to see?
Do I have to pick someone that you said?
Yeah, because that's... Unless you can think of somebody that probably
honestly,
is in the running.
Jack White. Yeah, Jack White.
You think
Definitely
so?
Jack White.
Okay. He's...
Because I hear great things from his shows, and I don't know. I've never seen him, so.
Well, he's fantastic. That show.
I went to Bourbon and Beyond, and his set they said was good, but it wasn't like wow. The set he played at Bonnaroo a few years ago, the headline set was awesome. So maybe I just think his album might have been released too long for him.
Yeah, I agree. The two albums that he released this year weren't bad, but they just weren't the bangers that some of his past albums were. Just in my opinion. But yeah, that show.
Pearl Jam.
No, I don't think we'll get Pearl Jam. They just played Nashville the other night, and that you got to consider the radius clause. And Pearl Jam, I love Pearl Jam. Some people are going to be screaming at me for saying this, but I don't think Pearl Jam is really in Bonnaroo's demographic anymore. I don't think anyone under 30 is that into them. Just my personal opinion.
I would love to see Pearl Jam.
Okay, maybe you're proving me wrong.
I liked their set when they played. It was amazing. However, and I'm not saying it's all their fault, the numbers that year when they played weren't that great. And I think people higher up don't necessarily look at the undercard as much. I think they look at it as dollars, and so they want to kind of put them there. I don't know. We'll see.
I think these days, with the way the festival market is working, this is just my opinion. I may be wrong about this. It's just my current thought. You can really book only one act that is a big appeal to the over 30 crowd, because most of Rue's demographic is college aged or even like high school senior aged. Somebody that they haven't heard of is not really going to sell a lot of tickets.
Yeah, I think that started about maybe 2017 or 2018.
Yeah.
And you're right. I think it's increased each year. Like I'd say each year that I go, I meet more and more new people who, with my all my stuff and passing stuff out, I meet more and more new people, and I see less people that I recognize.
Yeah.
Now, back in like 2015, I couldn't go more than 3 steps without somebody hollering my name, and now it's not nearly as bad as it once was.
And that's not a bad thing. I mean, I talked to one of the people who used to handle Bonnaroo's marketing, and they've always considered it to be almost like a college. Like people come in for a number of years and then they filter out. So you always see the population changing. Now you've got a lot of us who are using that metaphor in the alumni association and always still involved,
We're never graduating from Bonnaroovian U.
No, not at all. Not at all. Hey guys, we got a couple of other people that had requested to get on. I'm going to go first to we got the Camp Routine Clan RV refugees coming in hot.
Clan.
Hello.
Well, hello.
How's it going, my dude? Introduce yourself. You're not just a refugee.
No. This is Captain Dan. I help run the Twitter account for it here, but me and Celia with Roof Fitness camped together this year down at Bonnaroo, and we both got an RV, and we had a little group together over an RV there. We had a really cool neighbor there that had a really psychedelic bus that caught on fire on its way into the
Oh yeah, we met that guy too.
I saw them and I met them.
Yeah, their bus is honestly cooler than ours because it has like a staircase going to the roof and everything.
It's a spiral staircase too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the side of their bus opens up, and there's a stage that is on it, and they had pyro on it, and that's what caught on fire.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. That's funny.
Yeah, the pyro caught on fire.
So
yeah,
tell us, tell us, who do you want to see next year?
I was actually working through this list. That some of it's probably may not be feasible, but for a legacy one, I wouldn't mind seeing it, and if they could get them, ABBA. You know?
Oh, they would sell tickets. I think because of those Mamma Mia movies, they're more relevant than most people think.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing ABBA, on the farm there, and then I'd be down to see Janelle Monáe, get into kind of R&B rap. I'd go for Tech Nine, Wu-Tang Clan, and RTJ. I'd be down for those. And then, like, Super Jam wise, I'd be down for, like, Dave Grohl and Friends.
Ooh.
Yep. I'd love to see Dave Grohl curate something because I think he'd be amazing at it.
I feel like at that point, if you had, like, Dave Grohl doing the Super Jam, you could almost have the Super Jam headline. It would be a little similar to that Taylor Hawkins tribute concert that they did over in London. That would be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. No, they just announced another one, I think, in L.A., and they just I saw a poster, and the lineup of people on there is insane. If you go down it's in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good.
Man, the Foo Fighters are so much fun live. It's so sad what happened with Taylor, especially considering that we probably were going to get them since we lost them due to the hurricane. Dave and his crew are like one of the type of acts that doesn't just put on a concert. They throw a party. Like, they really get everybody involved and do a lot of fun stuff.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I mean, I love the fact that they were, like, branching over into kind of like, disco style stuff. I mean, that just makes me laugh, and I applaud their willingness to go beyond, outside of what they've normally done and just try and discover more things about themselves. I mean, if you're not growing, you're not learning more about yourself. So
good point.
But one other band, and I've been banging the drum on this one, and I think it'd be a fun Sunday act, just to be like an opener or like a midday afternoon one. On the what stage is Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem.
Yes. 1,000% yes. Do you know how much fun that would be?
Oh my gosh, the Muppets? Yes. I mean, gosh, come on.
Yeah, so let's back up and explain this for anyone that doesn't know. So Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem were basically the house band on, various different Muppet shows. And they have played live shows before. They played Outside Lands in San Francisco a number of years ago. And you gotta go along with the act. So the Muppets are real. Kermit is real. All of them are real. They come up on stage, but like behind the scenes, they're all puppeteers underneath the thing. But they come out and they put on the show. And I'm just going to say, can you imagine somebody theoretically being on Bud Light and watching that?
Dude, as long as Miss Piggy ain't there.
No, she's toxic AF. She can't be there. I'm going to bring a sign that says "Free Kermit."
Yes.
But yes.
Yeah, it would. That would be an elevated experience there, to say the least.
The freaking Muppets. What if, like, look, I had been picturing this for years. If they have Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem, you have Kermit come out and act as like MC, and he introduces them. Can you imagine like him introducing them, like doing the wah and like flailing around like the memes?
Oh yeah, and then Animal comes out. It just goes Animal.
Jones.
Yes. Yeah, I would love it.
Oh my God, that would be so much fun. Well, dude, thank you so much. Those are some great recommendations. I'm going to see if we can get our buddy Bryce on. He's been hitting the request button for for a good while. Bryce, how's it going, my dude? See, Bryce, are you there? I think you're muted.
There we go.
There you go. How's it going, man?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Tell us something positive that's been happening for you lately.
Something positive that's been happening for me lately.
Yeah.
Well, I got a lot of good projects done at work. That's a positive.
Yeah, that's a big positive.
That's a big positive. Look, I'm gonna take your positive, and I know this is against the Bonnaroo code or whatever, but I'm gonna turn it to a negative.
Uh-oh.
I don't appreciate the hate that you guys gave to LCD Sound System.
Oh, okay. Okay, no, I'll take it. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I loved them. I got to meet James Murphy one time. They're one of my favorite bands. But, like, from an overall market perspective, I agree with what Pondo was saying, that maybe they weren't headliner level at all. Maybe the 2016 sales kind of showed that.
Potentially, yeah. But
wait, what's the cat's name?
I agree with Captain Roo, where you said Dr. Teeth would be an amazing act to have at Bonnaroo. I never even thought about that.
Oh my gosh, that would be so much fun. I'm glad you had the counterpoint about LCD sound system. I mean, that is a topic for healthy debate, I think. It's something that they've been talking about on InfoRoo for years now, ever since 2016. And it's hard to say with any accuracy how much of a factor that was in the low ticket sales that year.
Well, what was the factor for low ticket sales this year?
Good question. I think that's very debatable too, but I think the economy is just very different these days.
Yeah, I mean, it was pre-COVID and pre-recession, and or pre-recession.
Yeah, but listen. Most importantly, you have to tell me your cat's name because I hear them.
It's Domino.
Domino. Oh my God,
yeah.
I love Domino. I heard Domino. There he is.
He always gets loud whenever I start talking, so I apologize for the meows in the background.
Oh no, trust us. In this household, we are very used to loud meows from Ricky.
Look, I wanted to throw out a hypothetical to you guys.
Let's hear it.
Okay, and as I was like thinking about the question, I thought about the logistics of it and how hard it would be to pull off things that like Manchester is way out in the sticks as opposed to LA or London.
Yeah.
But what about like a Hans Zimmer?
Oh man, that would be fantastic. You're right that it would be a logistical challenge, but I would love for Bonnaroo to do some kind of orchestra situation like they did with him or Danny Elfman, like they did over at Coachella. You know?
Coachella. Yep. I would like every year. I've been waiting to see something like that, and it hasn't happened. And I think I boiled it down to the fact that it's like it would be a logistical nightmare.
Yeah.
I really don't know how they do it as is, like with everything, because I'm assuming they fly everything to Nashville, truck it to Manchester.
Well,
I mean,
they usually
could be totally wrong. I don't know anything about that stuff, but like the fact that they pulled this off every year is a miracle.
Usually in Roo's case, yeah, it is in the middle of nowhere. It's about an hour or so from Nashville, but they're able to work with bands and get it scheduled into their existing tours, where like Bonnaroo is kind of on the way between like Atlanta or Nashville and another spot or whatever. But like those kind of orchestra situations, like especially out on the West Coast, like they play the Hollywood Bowl or something, and then they work a deal to also get them over to Coachella.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a great idea, but you're right that it would be very, very tough. I'd have to go to people that know way more about that situation than I do. I can tell you this, though. When we were working with Rue and Flip Turn to have them play that show, there was a lot more involved in the tech side than I thought it was. There was a lot that had to happen in back of a house just to get like a 5-piece band set up. So I can't imagine a full orchestra, you know?
Yeah, that would be insane.
Yeah, but very good idea.
I was thinking about that question, and I was also thinking about like like Niles Rogers had a pretty big band piece with them, as did the Killers. I mean, they were able to pull off what they did. Could like a 80 piece be able to do it?
Oh man, yeah, it'd be tough, but I don't know if anybody can do it. It feels like Bonnaroo is one of the places that can.
I agree with you.
Anything else? You got any other ideas?
I'm good, man. Thanks for taking my hand up.
Yeah. And I'm glad you countered me on the LCD thing. I mean that I'm glad we can have the healthy debate on that. Positive debate. Yeah.
I would love to see them back at Bonnaroo.
Oh hell yeah, I would too. I'm dying to see them again. I've seen them twice before. I'd love to see them again. They're one of my favorites.
Awesome, man. Well, y'all take care. Y'all have a good night.
You too, my dude.
All right.
Well, Brooklyn, I think this was a successful Twitter Spaces for our 100th episode, like our bonus sized. You feeling pretty good?
Sized?
Yeah. Hey,
Sized?
Sure, why not? So, hey, just as a tease, our next episode 101, is me and you are going to tag team it and go over everything Okeechobee. I feel like Okeechobee needs to start paying you because you have convinced so many people to go.
Yeah. Monkey Bar?
The Monkey Bar is going to be there.
Monkey Bar's going with us.
Yes. I can't wait. I had such a good time last year. And I know this generated some discussion when we were talking about it, but I do feel like Okie is getting to the point where they're rivaling Rue in terms of the experience. Maybe not the lineups yet, but the experience certainly does.
I'm about to get so much hate.
Uh-oh. Well, let's save it for next week. What do you think?
Okay.
All right. So just a tease. Well, thanks
Don't
everyone.
cancel me yet.
Yeah, not yet. Thanks everyone for joining us. We will see you next week for me and Brooklyn on Okeechobee. Thanks everybody. Hey Brooklyn, we got some stuff to do. Me and you were finally going to go see Eric and Ben tonight. I've been calling them out on the podcast. Now we're going to finally hang with them. Yes.
I can't wait.
All right. Thanks Brooklyn. See you in a little bit.
All right. Bye.
Bye everybody.
Bye everybody.
Thank you, Brooklyn. That was so awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that we got her on the 100th episode. She has been instrumental in a lot of things with the podcast, with the Rubus projects and everything. Brooklyn did a fantastic job a couple of months ago when she hosted an episode from the Mini Roof Farm. Just for rookies, she talked with Elena and JoJo. Go back and listen to that one. She did a fantastic job
That
with
was
that.
one of my favorite episodes. I forgot to mention that one earlier, but that
Yeah.
episode is so good.
We try to support her because like Brooklyn has like a natural gifted talent at like kind of like communicating and being a host and kind of like a PR person a little bit.
Right. She's fantastic at that.
Some people just have a God-given talent for it. Charlotte and I had to have a lot of training at college for it.
Right. We had to go to school for that.
And we're still not the best, yeah.
No.
Charlotte, 100 episodes in, we talked already about what your favorites were that we already did. What do you want to do in the future?
You know, personally, I want to tell more stories. I want to get back to storytelling.
Yeah, we need to. We get distracted with fun things that come up, and we have a lot of people that can tell us, kind of what they know about newsy type stuff or community stuff. But yeah, I'd like to get to telling more stories. Maybe we can alternate between weeks where it's like storytelling and weeks where we do like kind of like discussion,
Right. That'd be cool.
Yeah, maybe we can get to that. Maybe we should start that here before too long. Something else I was going to tell you a little bit more. I have to be careful about what I say, but I want to tell you about some of our future projects. So you will hear more about this in some months' time, but there's some stuff that we want to do in the future that, let's put it this way. I think Bonnaroo would be great to have a mentor program where people can kind of adopt rookies and help them out. Maybe it could even go further than Bonnaroo. Something else I want to see is some more international exchange programs at Bonnaroo. I think it would be cool to get somebody from Haiti, for example, to come play music at Bonnaroo.
That'd be super awesome.
They have a very deep history with music. In fact, I was just talking with somebody about this the other day. Like, a lot of Bonnaroo is sourced from, like, New Orleans tradition. Mm-hmm. And a lot of New Orleans tradition is sourced from stuff that comes from Haiti. We will talk more about that in the future. There's some other things that we're going to do. This will all be wrapped up in a big project that you're going to hear about in 2023. But since it was the 100th episode, I thought it was not a bad idea to give a little tease for that.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. So more to come in 2023 on that. Charlotte, I haven't really asked you, Who do you want to see headline in 23?
Ooh, who do I want to see?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, except for I'm not going to say Dolly because that's just above.
Yeah, that's a given.
I mean, that's a given. I guess Green Day.
Yeah, see, I think this is a good pick. Had a lot of good things told to me about their set at Shaky Knees.
They did play a lot of festivals.
I know this is going to make some of us feel old, but they fit the bill of legacy headliner these days.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not dwell on that. But yes, I think they would be a good fit. You have anybody else in mind?
Yeah, I haven't really thought about it.
Okay, well, we got a lot of time to think about it.
Thought about it a lot.
You know, I think we were pushing for Gaga, but let's be realistic. Yeah, she's going to be filming a movie.
I'm just being real.
She'd be very expensive as well.
True.
We talked about this earlier when you went there, but like it's seeming like maybe not a sure thing, but like maybe not the worst bet for like some kind of trio of like Lizzo, Odessa, and either the Chili Peppers or Dead and Company. Would you be happy with that?
Yeah, that'd be fine with me.
We just came back tonight from a My Morning Jacket show, and I overheard a lot of conversation about the last Dead and Company tour. The fans for My Morning Jacket and Dead and Company probably kind of overlap quite a bit. And I even heard like 2 or 3 people in the back saying that, like, hey, man, I hope they play Bonnaroo. I mean, it isn't for us to dictate what the Bookers should and shouldn't do, but it seems like a no-brainer to try to get them for 2023, just my opinion. We shall see.
Well, who do you want to see?
Do I want to see?
Yes.
Oh, it would be Gaga. That's who I want to see. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm very happy with Odessa. I think they were a great fit. I think they earned it after the great show they put on a couple of years ago. This is wild, and we just saw them just a couple hours ago before recording this. I think My Morning Jacket should headline. I think they have also earned a headlining spot at Bonnaroo. Whether or not that'll ever actually happen is another matter, but I think it should happen, and I think there's been so much discussion of a lot of Bonnaroovians who have been going for years that want to see that happen. They're set in the Ox, or what was it, 2008, I believe, where they played for like 4 or 5 hours in the rain. Probably a lot of people's number one Bonnaroo set they ever saw, you know, amongst people that's been going for years. I think they've earned it. I'd like to see Chili Peppers again. Maybe it's a little too soon. I don't know if it is or not. It kind of isn't, but whatever. Other than that, I'm kind of down for whatever. Lizzo is owed the spot, I believe. There's some other good ones. Do you want to see Garth Brooks headline one of these days?
Okay, so...
Oh, here we go.
I mean, we mentioned that. We joked about that on Twitter the other day.
Yeah.
And he is the number one solo artist of all time or whatever.
More so than Elvis?
Yes.
Wow.
He's like one of the top selling artists of all time, whatever. And he, you know, as great as he would be, you know, as he would, you know, be up there with the Dixie Chicks, or I'm sorry, excuse me, the Chicks, whatever.
That was a good show, by the way.
It was a great show. I feel like I don't know if Bonnaroo's the right place necessarily.
I don't know. I think it could be.
He would be so expensive. I guess is where I'm going with that. That would they have the money to book
other things? Yeah, it's a good question. That's a good point.
I don't know.
Maybe one of these days we'll see. Well, Charla, this has been a fun, supersized 100th episode. I think we're going to take another week off, but we're going to start getting back in the swing of things. We should get more stories in, like Charlotte was saying, and we are approaching rumor season. There's starting to be a lot of discussion on InfoRoo and the Bonnaroo Reddit and some of the Facebook groups. A lot of bands are starting to book their summer tours for next year already, so word is going to start getting out about some things here in the next, 2 months leading up to Christmas. And then, you know, we don't know this for sure, but if you go by what's happened the past number of times, we should probably expect a lineup drop like, first, second week of January or something like that. That's how it has been.
Yep.
So unless something major changes, that's what we got to look forward to right after Christmas time. What do you say we do another 100 episodes?
Okay, but can I say something?
Yeah.
The chicks, not the
The chicks. Oh yeah, we know. We knew that. It's just late at night while we're recording
very
this.
late.
Yeah,
We're
and
recording this very late.
Ricky is trolling
We've
her.
been traveling all day.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everyone. I think we will do another 100 episodes. Maybe? What do you mean maybe?
We will.
Yeah, of course we will. All right. Hey, we have been lucky to run into so many of you who come up and introduce yourself to us, like at Bonnaroo or in town or at other concerts. Please don't thank us. There's nothing to thank us for. We're just like regular Bonnaroovians, just like you. If you want to do something, pay it forward. Go do something awesome for someone else. Make someone else's day, not just in Bonnaroo, but the real world. If you think like, hey, the Rubus is doing a cool project, I want you to top us. I want you to do a project as well. We talked about this in the Burning Man episode, but this is one of my goals. I want to see way more stuff happen in the campgrounds. So we're just trying to lead by example. I want you to do something even cooler. So go do something awesome for someone else. Plan something awesome for everybody on the farm next year in 2023.
Right?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
We'll talk more about that in the coming months. We got a while, but you know what? Until then, get out and radiate positivity. We'll see you soon.